Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today is Monday, which means it's time for an episode of Loadout, the series where you guys, the viewers, get to pick a gun and customization for me to use. The way you do this is you leave a comment letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with, and I will pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode. And due to the recent update to the comment section on YouTube, it's been very difficult for me to sort through YouTube comments and try and figure out what you guys want as a top loadout. So I'm going to have to ask you guys to leave your loadout comments on the Facebook post of this. My Facebook page is facebook.com/LevelCapGaming. It's linked in the video description, and it's also linked at the very end of this video. So unfortunately, some of you guys are going to have to make an extra trip if you want to leave a loadout comment. By all means, leave normal comments on this video as well, but I will be looking at the Facebook ones to pick one for next week. Now, because upvoting seemed to be kind of broken last week, there wasn't really any top comments to pick from, so I looked through to see which weapons were suggested most frequently, and by far the SAR-21 had the maximum suggestions. So I'm running with this assault rifle, and it's an interesting assault rifle, and I'm kind of glad that you guys picked it because it fills a very unique area in Battlefield. It's got the lowest rate of fire of any of the assault rifles out there, so its time to kill is going to be the highest. And the question is has DICE done other things to this weapon to make it viable? You know, when you have a low rate of fire weapon, you generally have to improve things like its recoil, its accuracy, its reload time, anything that you can try and give it an edge over a really high rate of fire weapon. Now, when I started outfitting this weapon, I started with the principle that 600 rounds per minute simply was not going to be fast enough to use this consistently as a close quarter weapon. Sure, you're going to see me get some CQC kills here, but ultimately I was trying to set this up and use it as more of a long range weapon where I could actually get the advantage. So 600 rounds per minute, I'm going to have to try and take advantage of its accuracy and its low recoil. Now, one benefit of this weapon is that it has the lowest recoil for any of the assault rifles in the game. It just simply hardly kicks at all, so it's very easy to just point and shoot with this gun. You're going to notice there isn't a lot of screen shake, even when I'm using attachments like the heavy barrel. To further try and force myself into playing more medium to long range situations, I threw a 3.4 times magnification sight on here. Ironically, this footage that you're watching at this particular moment is mostly close quarters, but it does for the most part make me feel more valuable at long range and try and set myself up for long range situations, since a magnification sight is not ideal for in-your-face type of action. And I was just kind of shooting from the hip there because that is one of the disadvantages of a magnification sight, is that it just gets difficult to try and zoom in on targets at extreme close range. Now let's take a look at some of the stats of this gun and see how we can break it down and figure out which attachments and which kind of playstyle are going to work the best. Obviously, we've covered the 600 rounds per minute rate of fire. It's got the standard 25 maximum damage, 18 minimum damage at 55 meters. Its short reload time isn't particularly great at 2.3 seconds, again favoring a more of a medium range engagement distance. Now its recoil next to that is just amazingly low. Check that out, 0.18 vertical recoil with a first shot multiplier of 1.8 and a 0.2 pull left and a 0.2 right. So not only is this the lowest recoil for any assault rifle out there, but you have to remember that you're only experiencing those recoil multipliers every time the gun shoots. And so since it has the lowest rate of fire of any assault rifle, those multipliers are not going to be triggered as frequently as something like, say, an AEK, which shoots 900 rounds per minute and has a higher recoil per shot. So the recoil on this gun is just so much lower than anything else out there. It's kind of crazy, and it allows you to be a little bit more creative with your attachments. Normally, I'm looking for attachments that are going to lower the recoil of a weapon and allow me to control it better. Since I really don't need to do anything for this gun to lower the recoil, in fact I could increase the recoil and still be able to handle it just fine, I find that putting a heavy barrel on here is a great marriage for this weapon because that increases your accuracy. And considering that my initial goal was to try and make this weapon more effective at medium to long range engagements, better accuracy is going to serve that purpose fine, and it's going to allow me to actually hit targets when I zoom in with my 3.4 times sight. Now, because the heavy barrel does increase your vertical recoil a bit, the question comes, do you want to try and tame that with your grip, or do you want to try and further improve your accuracy with your grip and just deal with the extra vertical recoil on your own? If you want to try and tame that vertical recoil, you can throw an angled foregrip on there, which I actually found to be a really nice combination. Heavy barrel angled foregrip on the SAR-21 works beautifully. You can also try using a stubby grip in addition to the heavy barrel to get even better accuracy. With that, I noticed that there's a little bit more first shot recoil than I was prepared for initially, and it might be a little bit too much for a 3.4 times sight. I found that if you're using just a regular red dot sight, reflex sight, even with a 2 times magnifier on there, using the stubby and heavy barrel is definitely a very usable combination, and it's incredibly accurate. Now say you want to get rid of any possible vertical recoil. This gun already has crazy low vertical recoil, but say you just really don't want to have to do any sort of recoil compensation and you don't want to see this gun jump around at all while you're firing full auto. You can always try the muzzle brake and the stubby grip. I'll probably be playing around with this setup for console when PlayStation 4 comes out, and as I learn to control my recoil better, I might change the attachments out or switch to a different weapon. As far as the actual SAR goes, 600 rounds per minute is simply not going to be enough for somebody who wants to play real competitively, or if you're playing against good players. They're always going to get the better of you when you have such a low rate of fire weapon, which is why I probably won't be using the SAR-21 a lot on PC. I'll definitely give it more of a go on console just because of my aiming skills on console. But as far as PC, since I'm pretty decent at recoil control, I'm going to be looking for something with a little bit higher rate of fire, at least for my competitive guns. It's not to say that I won't be playing around with the SAR-21 just for fun on Battlefield, but as far as the accuracy at range goes, it is nice, but I don't feel like you gain a huge advantage over other weapons that can shoot faster. The M416, the ACE-23, even the AEK I find is usable at range if you tap fire it. And here I'm assaulting the worst set of MCOMs in the game, the first pair of MCOMs in Paracel Storm, Rush, and I find that if you don't get a good initial push when your whole team is actually together, when working together in the very start, if you can't set up a beachhead on the carrier, then your odds of actually getting both these MCOMs are very, very low. You'll notice that I'm trying to take advantage of the 2 times magnifier sight on here, and I found that I was actually preferring this sight setup to the 3.4 times sight. I like 3.4 times sights, but again, I just don't really feel like the SAR has enough accuracy to really benefit it from it. So just a normal red dot sight allowed me to be very effective at medium range, and if I needed that medium to long range, then I could always flip up the 2 times magnifier. So all in all, the SAR-21 is a fun weapon. I would recommend it to players who aren't very good with recoil control. It's definitely a good starting out gun. And I would say that once you get more comfortable with your recoil control, you're probably going to want to upgrade to something with a slightly higher rate of fire, just so you can defend yourself against some of those more competitive players. Now, as far as loadout comments and weapon availability, I've unlocked most of the guns in the game with exception to about half of the DMRs and some of the shotguns, though by the time this video airs, I might have unlocked a whole bunch of them. So just get creative with your comments. Any weapon, any attachments you can think of, I'll give them a try. Remember to post those comments on Facebook instead of the YouTube comments section. And as always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.